Ronicus Explodicus.
10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name.
Hey guys, as you've probably noticed by now, this week we are talking about the game-changing books. What's the book that made you realize you wanted to write, or that gave you this intense love of reading that you might not have had before? And for me, if you hadn't noticed, it was Harry Potter. Harry Potter came out at the right time for me. I was Harry's age when I picked up the book, and I'll admit that I was waiting for the owl at my next birthday. And when I was younger, I was a very avid reader, and I blamed my grandmother for this. And I remember one afternoon, I went up to her house, and there was this book on the table, which was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and it had just come over to the States from the UK. So no one knew about it, and she said, "I think you'll really like it. You know, it's got really good reviews, blah, blah, blah." So I took it home, started reading it, and I couldn't get past the first chapter, and so I put it down. And every single time I tried to read it, I couldn't get past the first chapter. I was really bored by it, I guess. And one night, after I had finished reading another book, and I wasn't tired, I was like, all right, fine, I'll read Harry Potter just because it's all I've got left. So I picked it up, read the first chapter, and then the second chapter, and the third chapter, and the fourth chapter, and the fifth chapter, and finally I realized that it was about midnight, and here I am, 10, 11 years old, and I have to get up at 6:30 the next morning for band or something like that. So I put it down, went to school the next day, and all I could think about was this book, and how excited I was to go back home and read it. So I did, and once I read it the first time, I picked it up again and read it the second time, and seriously, for about a month, it was the only book that I read. And I didn't realize that it was going to be a series. I was just very upset that there was only one book. And I think from that moment on, I was hooked. It's the only series that I've read multiple times. It's the only series that I will set aside time for to finish in one go, and it's the only series that has hooked me so deeply that I still sometimes daydream about what it would be like to be in Hogwarts and to have all of these magical powers. And there was something about that fan letter in the back of the book that I think really spurred me to write. Because, it was clear that J.K. Rowling was touching a nerve amongst kids my age. And you just didn't really see that. You never really saw kids having such profound reaction to a book, saying that it changed their lives, that it gave them hope. And I really wanted to be a part of that. So I did what everyone did, and I started writing. I wrote the first couple chapters of a book where a boy gets taken away to a magical world, and mine was unique because it wasn't in Britain, it was in a magical world. And sometimes I'll still pick it up and bemoan the fact that I was a much better writer 14 years ago than I am today. But that drive to share that with other people, to have that much of an impact on my readers, has kept me going. And wanting to be able to get to a point in my life or my writing where readers would have such profound experience, where reading my works would give them hope or strength or whatever it was that they needed at that point in time. And that's persisted to this day. If I could write a book where at least one person out there feels like their life is changed for the better, or they're having a really shitty time and they feel that now they have the strength to get through it, then I've done everything that I want to do as an author. It's not about the fame, it's not about the fortune, it's fortune. It's about reaching people and giving them this world that they can make their own. So I would love to hear from you guys to find out what were the books or movies even, the experiences that gave you another world to go to so you could figure out your own problems or cope or even just explore a different way of life. Like what was your game-changing book?